until right before the wedding. The woman was horrified to discover the emperor had long since fallen out of love and had promised the title of empress to his first love. Seeing them embrace so intimately, she finally realized 6 years of devotion could never win his heart. Yet the emperor still pretended to make promises, saying once she recovered, he would make her a noble consort, second only to the empress. In that moment her heart turned to ash. She had once hidden her identity and followed him into battle for 6 years, risking her life without hesitation. He had promised back then that the day he ascended the throne would be the day she became empress. She naively believed happiness had finally come, but instead she saw him appear before her, with his first love by his side. The cunning woman made no effort to hide it, telling her the empress ceremony would be in 3 days. She thought she must have misheard, but the emperor confirmed it himself. In that instant her heart was torn apart. She refused the title of noble consort, and only begged to leave the palace. She knelt outside the gates for 5 hours, just to wait for his permission, but before his answer came, she fainted on the cold ground. When she woke up, the emperor was sitting by her bedside. He began to explain, saying he had once promised his first love the empress title, but had forgotten he'd made the same promise to her. Then the emperor admitted honestly that he had used her feelings just to reach the throne. It was only at this moment that she saw clearly he was no longer the man she knew. Just then a servant announced the return of the Grand Tutor. She went eagerly to see her mentor after so many years, but overheard him advising the emperor that she was just a chess piece, and now that the game was won, there was no need to bring her back as noble consort. Her heart trembled. She coughed up blood on the spot. Before she could recover, the cunning woman appeared again, bringing an even crueler truth. Years ago when the emperor was trapped, the woman risked everything to help him escape and summon reinforcements, but he took the army to save the cunning woman's family first. As a result, the woman was captured, tortured endlessly, and left with a condition that made her infertile for life. Hearing this, her heart felt like it was being torn apart. She furiously questioned the cunning woman. Why treat her like this? The woman suddenly dropped to her knees, pretending to give up the empress title. When the emperor came out, the cunning woman tumbled dramatically down the stairs. Seeing the blood, the emperor immediately picked her up in his arms. The mentor then claimed she was pregnant, and questioned why anyone would hurt a woman with child. When the cunning woman called the Grand Tutor uncle, everything suddenly made sense. It had all been a trap from the start. The court officials demanded punishment. The emperor shouted in fury, ordering her robes stripped in public, and sending her to the cold palace, with no food or water. Heartbroken and devastated, she arrived at the cold palace, only to find even the servants were kicking her while she was down. They forced her to walk across shattered bowls barefoot. She collapsed before reaching the other side. Thankfully, the official who had always silently loved her appeared. He caught her steadily, and gently wrapped her in his cloak, then took her back safely. But when she woke again, an old illness had returned to her eyes, leaving her completely blind, with no hope of recovery. So she asked the official to help her choose a husband. At the empress ceremony tomorrow, she wanted to tell the emperor face to face. All she wanted was her freedom, and when he learned she had no one to marry, the official didn't hesitate. He stepped forward and offered to make her his wife.